fam? Welcome back to the CEO Pulse podcast, where you get the real, the raw, and the mind of entrepreneurship. Back on Mindset Mondays with my co-host, Justin Thorstad.
Hola.
All right. Wow, that was like super weak. Your
Right?
entrance was shitty
Well, I
on
can't
that
do
one.
like the Mexican yell.
I am
thing.
telling you. Well, I don't know.
I'll have to practice that.
So yeah, sound effects. The thing that we want to talk about right now is success. All right. What entails success? All right. And this is something that Justin actually came up with this, and I think it's right on the money. But it's 3 steps to success. Right. It's going to be subjective. Success is a subjective thing, meaning that it means something different in everybody else's or everybody's mind, right? However, there's things that just correlate, and they kind of go hand in hand with every single level of success. So that's what we want to break down to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and first of all, I mean, the most profound definition of success that I've ever come across came from Earl Nightingale, and that's the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And so that would insinuate that you have a worthy ideal. And so
Right.
the 3 steps that guarantee success, which is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, it comes down to focus, passion, mental toughness. Focus, passion, mental toughness. And so focus means, where is it that you're looking to go? What is it you want to accomplish? That's something you get to focus on, that you can pay your attention to, that you can focus all of your consciousness on, because energy flows where attention goes. So focus. Where are you going and why are you going there? Number 2 is just as important, and that's the passion piece. How bad do you want that thing? Like, what is it going to cost you if you don't get it? What are the prices you'll pay if you don't have it? And I don't mean just monetarily, right? I mean prices with self-esteem, self-respect, saying you're going to do a thing and then not doing it and never following through.
Right.
Like, what are the prices you're going to pay 10 years from now if you don't go start that business, if you don't make those scary phone calls, if you don't lead generate? You know what I mean? What if you future forecasted that? What is your life going to look like?
Yeah.
I mean, nothing changes until something changes, right? And so it's changed from within.
Well, that, and then you have the awareness to go along with it, right? And then the third one that you mentioned was mental toughness.
Yeah.
How are you dealing with everything, right? Everything that we're thrown as we're going through the process of trying to make shit happen.
Absolutely.
And because that's really the eloquent definition of an entrepreneur. It's just some dudes or dudette that's trying to make shit happen.
Totally. Well, and so
somehow, some way, out of the context of going out on their own, venturing on their own, and taking those risks to that next level.
yeah, and emotionally, how do you handle the adversity that's inevitable and
Right.
and inherent within this endeavor? I don't care
Yeah.
what your business is. I don't care what you're going for. Like, things are going to come up. There's things that you weren't able to plan for or predict that are going
Right.
to present themselves. Like, reality is going to unfold. The market's going to shift. Like, your clients are going to shift.
Yeah.
Are you a pioneer in something? Or is there still just a small segment of the market that are the early adopters? So you're
Right.
not getting the results you want. Like, everybody can be excited when you're getting what you want.
Yep.
Right? Well, what happens within you when shit changes?
Yeah.
Do you have those tools necessary for that mental toughness to stay conscious, to stay focused, to stay passionate about what you truly desire, knowing that it can unfold if you're consistent and persistent?
We call that standing in your truth, right? It's
Yeah.
easier said than done to realize or to understand, to get to the place where you recognize what your truth is. What are you here for? And I mean, having a purpose, having it sounds sexy, right? But it's a lot tougher than it really
Absolutely.
is. Because when you're standing in your truth, come hell or high water, it's a lot harder to move you from that space. So if you're feeling down, if you're feeling sick, if you're feeling unmotivated, if you're feeling like
Defeated,
deflated, exactly. There's the fact that you're standing in your truth, or what your aim at, your purpose, your clarity, your vision, your focus, right? Focus and passion are going hand in hand. You have a good grip on those. It really, pushes you to that next level where you can actually operate, right, when you don't feel like it.
Well, absolutely.
I want to go back, and before you jump onto that next topic, I want to go back and you opened with success is the realization of a worthy ideal.
Yeah, the progressive realization of a worthy ideal.
Progressive realization of a worthy ideal.
Yeah,
I like that.
progressive means it's moving forward.
Right.
Realization, like it's actually unfolding,
Yeah.
and it's a worthy ideal. And we talked about this in another one. I think it was the goal setting about a worthy ideal. And in my opinion, a worthy ideal is that really big C-type goal. It's a goal that's so big you have no idea how the hell it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like you can plan and you can strategize all you want, yet at the end of the day, it's so big you have no idea how it's going to unfold. And to me,
Right.
that's an exciting piece. But it's a worthy ideal. And a lot of people are afraid to kind of put their name on what is that big idea that they have because they're concerned like they're not enough to make it happen. And so worthy ideal, oh my gosh, what am I worthy of? And it's like, no. You've got this ass backwards. It's a worthy ideal. And that ideal better be worthy of you. Why? Because you're going to trade your life for it. Think about it. Wherever you spend your time is where you spend your life. And so if you're going to give up your precious commodity called time and you're spending your life with it, it better be worthy of you, not you worthy of it.
Now, let's also realize, right, that you said it. It's a precious commodity. Time is a precious commodity. We have to look at our time like that. It doesn't matter how much money you make, how many friends you have, how many likes, how many what the impact is. There's one thing that's always running out, and that's your time. Are you treating your time like a precious commodity? Are you spending the time where you want to spend it? Are you, having the impact that you want to have, and is it on your terms? Or are you just giving your time away? I mean, that's brutal, man. I've seen it, where, and it happens quite often, right? People lose, and I'm 100% guilty of this, losing track of where my time was being spent. And not treating it as a precious commodity, and I think that's a huge.
I think we all
huge
fall into
mistake.
that
Yeah.
at some point or another for certain time frames. Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of things that go into it, but I think it links back to the focus, right? When you have a grasp of what your worthy ideal is, what your version of success is, your focus is going to be a lot clearer. It's going to be
Absolutely.
dialed in.
And there's power in that clarity too.
Yeah.
Because that also determines what you say yes to and what you say no to.
Right.
And this is for entrepreneurs, this podcast, right?
Yeah.
And so people instantly go to, well, in business, what's my focus, what's my passion, and do I have mental toughness to weather the storms of adversity that are inevitable, that are gonna come. They're gonna come in seasons.
Right.
And there's always that ebb and flow. But what about with your kids? What about with your honey? What about with your friends? Like, we're talking about success in all facets of life simultaneously.
Right.
Because I just want to bring it back to that time piece. Like, there's no human on earth that knows exactly how much time they've got.
No.
But yet everyone's spending it like it's this inexhaustible resource. And it's like, no, wrong.
Yeah.
That's invalid. You don't know if you have the rest of today, quite literally.
Well, who's older, right? The person who started living at 20, but they're going to die at 27, or the person who started living at 65 and they have 20 years left.
Yeah.
It's relative when it comes to, when you see it from that perspective. It's about the quality. It's funny this topic is coming up. We were talking about success, but this morning I was actually during my meditation, one of the things that popped up was time, right? And not necessarily just time, but quality time.
Quality.
Spending quality time with people, or I don't like the term spending time, because it's not being spent, it's being invested, right? It's like
It's very true.
It's
just a common conception of spending.
Yeah. Well, semantics, right? But at the end of the day, it really is. Anytime you're leaving a few minutes behind you with somebody, at any given situation or conversation or whatever, are you treating it like you should? Is it like a precious commodity? Right?
Yeah.
Because I think that links back, straight up directly into the the degrees of success. What do we want? One thing that I know I wasted a lot of time in was saying yes to stuff that I should have said no. Because of the need for, I don't know, just being liked or validation or whatever. But it was stuff that didn't align. It wasn't clear. I was not clear on purpose.
Yeah, and you're the only one that's done that.
Yeah. I mean, this is totally isolated.
But let me challenge you on that for a minute. So, because I've done that so many times with so many things of like, oh my God, I wasted all this time, But if we look at it as we're always investing time, was it a waste?
Yeah.
Maybe it took that level of investment of time to come to the awareness, the understanding of this is not the highest and best use of my investment of time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, and who's here to judge accurately that was too much time that you spent to come to the awareness? It cost whatever it cost in time to have that level of understanding. And so, great investment.
Well, that, and then I mean, your perspective shifts, right? I mean, anytime you're exposed to something like that, your perspective is going to shift, and you evolve as a human being. So
Absolutely.
It goes hand in hand. Let's go back to the concept of focus. All right. We have focused and passion, right? Focus, passion, mental toughness are three of the things. And Jocelyn liked your comment. Thank you, Jocelyn. She says that's so well put. Going back to those three things, I think it's important to keep in mind that success is not, again, it's relative to every individual. And I'm not saying somebody's wrong for wanting a 9 to 5, steady paycheck, that kind of stuff. If that's the idea of success, it's a beautiful thing if they're living that space, right?
Sure.
But if it's not, I think we have the responsibility to keep pushing ourselves to that growth zone, right? And increasing that level of mental toughness that needs to be increased, getting that thicker skin. My question is, how do you, and I think, do you feel like focus comes before the passion or passion before the focus?
That's a great question, man. And I'm going to say tomatoes. However, I believe a lot of people are passionate about something, right? Like an idea they want to bring to the market, how they want to live a life. It's like, what do they really want to bring forth? And so passion, I think, is one of the easiest pieces on here. But most people lack focus. And they lack focus because they might be passionate about something, yet they're not willing to take it from idea, the intangible, into a tangible, like a fucking written down goal.
Yeah.
Or, I'm going to do this. I'm putting my name on it. Because if I do that, because I've done that in the past, and in the past it didn't work out, so what makes me think it's going to work out this time? Like, for some reason, people think the past is going to equal the future.
Yeah,
and that is the biggest bunch of bullshit I've ever heard. You know what I mean? Because that would infer then, if you believe the past is going to equal the future, that nothing's going to change and everything's going to always stay the same for the rest of time. It's
Right.
like, no, that's incorrect. Everything's always been evolving and growing and changing, right? So the past is just that. It's the past. Leave it the fuck there. Can we move forward now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, focus. If you're willing to write down what that worthy ideal is, and you're willing to write down, okay, what can I do today? Just one action step that I can take today. And who can I talk to? Who do I know that might have something to do with this? And hell, if I know nobody, what if I just start blasting it out there like we talked about in the last episode? What if I just start telling everybody
Throwing some
about
fucking
what I want
spaghetti
to
in
do?
the wall, right?
Yeah, like eventually you're going to find someone that has the key for a connection of, hey, go talk to so-and-so. They know something about that. And you make that connection. Now there's collaboration, which is, I think, so beautiful. So focus is just simply identifying, where do I want to go? Like, what does that look like? Am I willing to sit down and articulate it, at least to myself, and just start brain dumping, come from my heart, come from my head? Like, what does that really mean to me?
Yeah. What does that really mean? It can be heavy. I think this is my take on it. I think it can be heavy when you're thinking purpose. When I say you, I speak for myself.
Yeah.
But when we're thinking purpose, when we're thinking, what am I here? What am I? What's my role
purpose?
in the world?
Yeah.
It can be daunting, right? Especially, I don't know, if you're in your early 20s and whatnot. Like, you have no fucking idea what's going on yet.
No.
Like, it doesn't
No,
matter.
I know
how.
people in their 50s that still haven't figured it
Exactly.
out. You know what I mean? It's like,
Shit, I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know, 99% of the time.
yeah, you do.
Yeah, the 1% I'm at the bathroom. Like, that's how it works. but no, it's just never. It's a consistent evolution of the self. Right now with the evolution comes the evolution of purpose. What we think we want right now may only serve us for the next 3 years.
Totally.
So for anybody listening out there if you're sitting down with the whole idea of purpose because you've seen the memes and you like other people's highlights in social media and whatnot, the reality behind it is very different. When you sit down with your truth and you sit down with the person that you want to become, the place that you want to be in as a individual altogether, overall, within 3 years of wherever you're standing now, it's going to be very different, right?
Yeah.
Now, we change. I can tell you, I have absolutely nothing to do with the same dude that I used to be 5 years ago. It's completely different, right? My goals are different. My perspectives are different. My idea of achievement is different. My idea of work and hustle is very different. So we evolve. When we evolve, our purpose evolves.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking direction, if you're thinking purpose, don't think that don't add the subconscious word life purpose behind it, right?
That's great, yeah.
Because I think it's one thing that tends to happen when we're thinking purpose, like, okay, what am I gonna do for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Like,
well, and not only that, but I think a lot of people
20,
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I don't
Yeah.
know what my purpose is. That's because they think that like,
it's my boy Alex.
when
What's up?
when they define their purpose, like it's got to be this massive, huge, profound, esoteric thing, and it's like no, like it's just simply how do you want to contribute to humanity?
Exactly, and again, that's gonna evolve. As you
Grow.
as you grow, as you get challenges thrown at you, as you overcome those challenges, as you hire, as you do whatever you're going to do as an entrepreneur, as a human being, just period, right? It's important to understand that when we're setting the space for purpose. It's just whatever your purpose is right now. Shit, that thing may change in a month, in 2 months.
It will
right?
change.
It's directions.
And that's the thing about it is that like, yeah, people think it's like a life sentence. Like, okay, so it's got to be really big because if I'm going to set my life purpose, like this is it. And it's like, no. Like, what is your purpose right now?
Yeah.
And allow that to be a living, breathing statement that's going to grow and evolve into something that's even higher and better. And yeah.
I was having a conversation actually last week. I was in Tampa for a mastermind, and we were talking about collaboration. This is the second thing that you talked about right now after we started rolling with purpose. But collaboration, right? When a lot of times we have no idea what's going to happen. We like right now you're talking about you're putting a mortgage business together to kind of oversee the whole thing in your company. So you're adding legs to this or branches to what you already have in operation. Doesn't mean that you know what's going to happen, right? However, you have a sense of direction. Now you start collaborating. You meet up with somebody else. Now the crazy thing is that one thing to consider is the collective. All right, I think the collective is it's a beautiful thing or a beautiful effect. That happens because of vibration and energy when you're in the space of growth and oftentimes is not recognized. What I mean by the collective is you and I are having a conversation right now, right? We are talking about purpose and rules or rules for success or there's a third energy going on right now.
Absolutely.
There's a third energy going on right now between you and I, right? Because it's my thoughts, it's your thoughts, and it's a combination of those thoughts.
Yes.
Now, what I'm trying to get to is when we're pursuing success, oftentimes we want to pursue it as if we have to know everything, right? We have to go into it and no, I got to have the blueprint laid out. Any objections, possible challenges or whatever, I have to have a way to overcome those. And it's not like that. Why? Because you're going to meet somebody who may not have all the answers, but when the two of you get together, that collective may. That's where like great ideas spark and happen.
So glad you're saying that. And by the way, I'm going to backtrack just a little bit in regards to purpose. Like, people need to understand that nothing has any inherent meaning or significance. It's all assigned.
Yeah.
So what do you think your purpose is because that's what you assign meaning and significance to. And so the piece about saying, okay, so for example, my purpose is very simple. It's to create large organizations that empower others to experience a life of liberty. So, for example, that's my North Star that determines what I say yes to, what I say no to. So, for example, like this mortgage piece, that's because with what's going on with crypto and so forth, bringing in a really cool twist that's not being done yet to make the barrier of entry for most people, especially first-time buyers, millennials, and so forth, to be able to realize home ownership for way less money.
Yeah.
And zero interest rates and all these kind of cool things. Yeah. I'm not going to unpack all that right now. But the point is, it's like that helps empower people to experience a life of liberty. So that's why I'm bringing it on. It's not just like, oh, hey, here's a cool business and it's going to make me money. Like that can get you into action, but long-term sustainability, there better be some purpose behind that. Otherwise, when you come up against an adversary, when you come up against market shifts, when you come up against things that are going to be an obstacle for you to realize what you thought you were going to accomplish or achieve or obtain from on the end results, like you better have some purpose to weather that storm because it's inevitable. It's inherent in the process of moving forward. Like an adventure in the hero's journey, there's going to be adversity.
Yeah.
Period.
It's part of it. It's part of, and it's foundations, right?
Totally.
You can't. If you don't have clarity over what you're aiming at, you're going to hit anything.
Yeah. Well, and how do you know that you hit it if it's not measurable because it's not clear?
So
aim small, miss small.
Yeah. So that takes me back to the third one, which is mental fortitude.
Yeah. So my twist on that is way different than what I think most people will automatically start thinking I'm going to say.
Okay.
So mental toughness. Now we can talk about resilience, and there's some power in that. And we can talk about thick skin, and we can talk about, not being moved by rejection and all these other things. And it's like, that's one way to look at it. And that's one way that I struggled with for a long period of time. Here's my mental toughness. It comes down to three things. And again, this is going to be way different than anyone else thought I was
You like
gonna say.
threes.
Three. Yeah, well, it's simple. It's a trifecta. We think about a stool. It must have three legs to stand on its own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Four's better. Like four seasons.
Tangent. Come back.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So three things. Number one, non-resistance. So what I mean is, like, first of all, I just, moment by moment, I desire to experience inner peace. I desire to be at peace. Well, if I'm in resistance to something, I'm not getting what I want, somebody said something, that's not what I wanted to hear, somebody did something which is in contradiction to what they said they were going to do, whatever the case is, if I'm in resistance, I'm experiencing resistance inside, I'm not at peace.
Yeah.
So number one, non-resistance. It's inner peace. Number two, non-judgment. Stop labeling fucking everything as good or bad. Because when you do that, then the mind, the ego, the unobserved part of the mind, goes to, I need to get more good and I need to avoid what's bad.
Yeah.
And so then you may be successful short term. You're getting a lot of the good. You're not getting what you don't want, right? That's good too. I'm not getting bad. That's good. Here's the problem. I don't care how much good you start getting. Market increases. You're aligned with the right people. Everything's flowing fine.
Shit changes, yeah.
Shit changes, right? And so identifying as I'm getting what I want as good is now when you get the good, you're going to experience like inner resistance because now you're going to be consumed with how do I keep it?
Yeah.
How do I hold on to it all? How do I not lose it? And now you're going to start just innately increasing your sense of inner resistance and non-peace because you need to hang on to what you got. Instead of realizing, number three, non-attachment. It's the impermanence of everything. Think about it. Everything that exists eventually will die. You're going to die. Hello, newsflash. Nobody lives forever. No relationship lasts forever. Even if it was perfect, one's going to die. Like, everything is impermanent. And so why so attached?
I think one thing that also happens, like as we're going through this process, and mental fortitude is or toughness, you have to work at it. Like it doesn't. Let's get some shit straight.
Yeah,
you don't wake
this
up.
Is a practice. It's
yeah,
not a perfection.
you don't wake up in the morning and say I'm gonna be mentally strong today, and then just go out and conquer the world. It doesn't fucking happen that way.
No.
Mental toughness. It's really everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? That's when mental.
Yeah.
That's
Mike
Tyson. Yeah.
Yep.
But it's. That's how it starts. I mean, you start getting that thicker skin. Now, I agree with what you're saying in terms of creation. Now, here's what happens. We start, often as entrepreneurs, we have this dream, right? We have this big desire. We have this just imagery of whatever the ideal world, is going to look like for us. Those of us who dare to dream, I think, go out there and actually put our necks on the line.
Yes.
Right? And it feels crazy sometimes. It feels like we're out there by ourselves in a boat in the middle of the ocean. There's like fucking nobody listening and no tools to know where we're headed. It kind of feels like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, all of that at the beginning, it's being launched from a space of creation, from a drive of to create, right? To have this. This perspective of life that we didn't have before, to make a shift, to make a change, to improve, to level up, whatever that is, right? It's calling us that way. Fuck, sometimes it's just getting out of the survival zone, right?
Sure.
But it's coming from a space of creating something that was not there, and that'll get you through the first couple of years. Now, you said something very important. As you start to get some success rolling, as you start to have some results, and then the vision, the dream becomes more tangible, that creativity or that energy of creation can shift into a fear of loss.
Yes.
Right? So we start protecting as opposed to creating more. Why? Because we don't want to lose the stuff that we just created over the last 3, 4, 5 years. I know I've been there. And what happens is like you have this energetic bottleneck. Of results and things that happen. I mean, have you dealt with that?
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just a bottleneck
Right, so I'm not
energetically.
crazy.
Here's what happens. when you start having the success,
Yeah.
then you want to hang on to it. And what you end up doing is you end up squeezing the life out of it.
Yeah.
Because energetically, you start transitioning from abundance of
Right.
an infinite flow of possibilities to, oh no, here it is, and I hope I don't lose it.
Right.
And so now you start falling into that scarcity mode. And there's a nice saying, the looser the grip, the tighter the hold. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
have a grip on things. I'm not saying non-attachment isn't careless and willy-nilly, just like whatever happens, happens. No, I'm still paying attention. I'm still monitoring things. Yet at the end of the day, if an unforeseen force comes in and wipes it all out, I'm okay. I'm still here. And when one door closes, another one opens, now I'm going to go create something else because I'm still here.
Yeah.
So why so attached? Now, that doesn't mean I want it to go away. I'm not looking forward to that day. But for example, I own a real estate company, right? I got a seminar company. If the world economy collapses, the real estate market crashes, and entrepreneurs have no revenue to pay for coaching, no one's buying real estate, my businesses are wiped out.
Yeah.
And so fucking what? I created those.
Non-attachment, right?
Non-attachment. I'll adjust to the environment and I'll create something else. Like wealth is never destroyed; it's transitioned.
Yeah.
People need to realize that. Like when one sector of wealth is built and the market shifts and that's destroyed, it goes somewhere else. Because money is an energy, which means energy can never be created, destroyed. It just moves into form, through form, and out of form. And so are you willing to be fluid with all of that? And you cannot be fluid if you're attached.
Right.
That means you're anchored and you're positioned in a spot. Like, good luck with that.
Well, I mean, you're truncating flow. One thing,
Perfect.
dude, I had a morning session with Al today at 8:30. So Al is my mental coach.
Miss that dude.
Mental, not as in crazy, clinical mental coach, but it's my mindset coach, right? So we sit down and once a month we just break, shit down and whatnot. And he was asking me, he was feeling a vibe, busier than normal, busier than usual.
What?
If you can imagine. Yeah, he's like, I'm getting an energy like from your side that there's a lot of stuff going on. Like, what is it? And I just came back again. I came back from a mastermind last week, and anytime I go to that particular mastermind, the family mastermind, I walk away with 1,000 things, right? Like, wow, man, I could be doing this, and that, and I do that, and I have a conversation. It just stimulates my growth and motivates me and drives me and all that stuff. So I come back like nourished, right, with a shit ton of stuff to do, and I'm going like this. The wholesale fix and flip business is doing really well, and the brokerage is growing. So like everything, in terms of the machine of the businesses is going well. It's going real well. Yet, I'm still having this need to find a fire. I'm having like in the back of my head, right? And I think, the non-attachment part plays into it. That's why I'm bringing it up. But for example, I'm looking at the wholesale business, the fix and flip, and it's like, no. I mean, there's no noise. Like, what's wrong? And the brokerage stuff is is going well. Like, there's no noise. There's no fires going on. Like, am I missing something? Finally, just like pump your brakes, bro. Like, chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
I'm coming at it. Hold on. I'm coming at it from a need of always being, the fixer, right, and trying to fix things and doing it. So I got right back into it. That's an MO for me, right? So it's something that if I'm not aware of it, if I let it just crawl up my back and whatnot, I'll forget about it and I'll be, right down into the taskiness of things as opposed to letting things flow. So I was looking for something to fix. He goes, no, you got to switch, from that to the space of receiving. Right, and now it's all that work that I've been doing over the last decade to put shit together. It's paying back. So it's been working well that way. But I have this subconscious need to just want to come in and then fix stuff when there's nothing broken.
Well, perhaps
because I'm attached to it.
Let me make a subtle shift to all of that. So here's what I heard you say. I went to the mastermind, and like I just got back from that conference, right?
Yeah.
Like for 2 days. Sitting in there listening to these panels about what's possible with crypto and the real estate market and all of it, like just these infinite possibilities. And I began to feel like overwhelmed of like, oh my God, there's all these beautiful, really cool projects. And then it leaves me in a space of like frustration, aimlessness, and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, wait a minute, focus. Focus.
Shiny object syndrome.
Yeah, and so what you're saying is like you said, there's all these possibilities, right? And then you bring it back home, and it's like, okay, but everything's humming smoothly, and there's no fires to put out. But I got this need, this energy for expansion and expression, because I believe that's what Spirit's all about. It's always for expansion and fuller expression, right? And so your need to go in and fix something could also be misunderstood as an energy of I need to go create.
Right.
And so, hey, if these businesses are humming and everything's flowing, great. Now, let me bring all these possibilities and let me remind myself of my purpose and what's in alignment with my purpose. Great. Let me choose that thing, that new business, that new branch, that new something to focus on and invest my attention and intention on to go create another leg, another branch, another business. And that's how we scale and duplicate and multiply, right? So I think it's so beautiful you were in that state. And of course you were. You just got back from something that opened you up to infinite possibilities. Right. Now the job is focus. You know what I mean? So I went to this conference with a couple other colleagues, business partners, and they're like talking about all these big, beautiful, wonderful things. So I was like, oh, that's a great idea. Oh, that's a great idea. It's like, but if we keep talking about all the infinite possibilities, ain't shit gonna get done, right? Yeah. So let's bring it back. What's the purpose? What's most in alignment with that right now? And let's go to action on that thing and bring it to life and creation so it starts breathing on its own. Then we'll add this, then we'll add this. And the way will unfold and like it'll be shown so long as focus, passion, mental toughness. Like it's just the three-step process of success.
Yeah, and it's relatively it's not rocket science, right? It's easier said than done.
Yes,
but it's not uber complicated to just come back to that space of conscious awareness. Okay, this is fundamentals. This is where I'm sitting, right now emotionally. This is where my thoughts are going. Just listen to your brain for a second, right? And this is for everybody out there. It's at any point in time when you're feeling busy, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling low, just listen to your brain. Or, listen to your thoughts. What are they telling you? Now, where are they coming from? Which is, I think, is more important, right? Is it are they coming from a space of fear? Are they coming from a space of loss? Are they coming from a space of irrational?
Yeah. So he's saying, listen to your brain, not as in do what it says. More of a space of like get behind the mind in that seat of consciousness, witness observation, and just pay attention and take a look at the themes and where it's coming from and why it's coming from there so you can understand what's going on so that you can then direct the mind to go a certain direction for focus. So, yeah.
You speak so pretty.
Thank you. Well, I've had a lot of practice with doing this with myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I'm able to articulate it because I understand how to work with me.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about it is like people get lost in the mind and start listening to its thoughts as in that's where I'm supposed to go and that's what I'm supposed to do. And it's like, no, stop.
We
Pay
have
attention to what it's
not running
first.
us, right? We're running it. And
you're the witness or you're the slave.
Exactly.
Pick one.
So just listen, have the conscious awareness to come back to self and understand where you're standing. Understand where if the actions that you're taking or not taking on a daily basis are they leading up to where you want to be, right? Are they leading up to your version of that realization of the worthy ideal? Are they leading up to success? And if so, do some of that stuff, but never lose the awareness. It's easy to lose it.
Totally.
Dude, I meditate every, 6 out of the 7 days, realistically, right? Sometimes I drop the ball. Sometimes I'll do 2 meditations a day and, whatnot. So I play with it at this point. It's more of a lifestyle than a habit, than a thing.
Yeah.
So it's part of me. Meditation is part of me. Now, even with all that, self-awareness and owning my truth and going through, reading the books and doing the work and all that stuff, forget. I mean, shit, I was going through this whirlwind tunnel in the morning. It was just a mental whirlwind where I was just trying to find fires. And like there's.
But that's familiar to you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's about noticing those redundant habitual patterns and catching yourself.
Now, the question is, think about your patterns. Think about the stuff that puts you in that state of angstiness, not anxiety, but angstiness. Something that just triggers you out of the normal, cool vibe behavior that you want to be in. And I like shit. I know people that at least whenever I see them, they're always, their demeanor is on point. They're flowing. They're doing it. I'm sure they have highs and lows, but
of course.
But it's coming down to again to that awareness of the self and what triggers you. What's pulling you in different directions other than the one that you want to go to. At the end of the day, we have the ability to choose where we want to head, right?
Absolutely.
Create the
Well,
focus.
and nobody stays in that flow
Define-
state
yeah.
indefinitely. Because if you think that you are, you're either delusional or medicated. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not crazy.
yeah. We have a biology,
Yeah.
we have a reality, and it's how our mind and emotions are interacting with it.
Right.
And are we sitting in that witness consciousness, noticing the mind and body? And
Yeah.
it's easy to fall out of that seat of consciousness and get involved in the mind and get involved in emotions and react versus respond and all of that. So, but bringing it back, how are we doing on time?
We're good.
Yeah. So I think, again, bringing it back to what's my focus, what's my passion, and the mental toughness. So again, the focus is where in the hell am I going?
Yeah.
And why am I going there? Passion, what does it really matter to me to get there? Like, what's it going to cost me? What are the prices I'm paying? And not just financially, emotionally, physically, all of that.
And understand that it's dynamic. Passion changes.
It does.
Right.
Allow that to evolve, allow that to grow, allow it
Yeah.
to be fluid. And the mental toughness, again, breaking that down into 3 points. Non-resistance, which means I desire inner peace. Non-judgment, which means not labeling things good or bad. And non-attachment, the understanding of the impermanence of everything.
Yeah.
And, it's funny too, because I tell everybody, the things that you want to focus on, that you want to practice, that you want to become, take a damn dry erase marker, write that shit on your bathroom mirror, because you're going to look at it at least twice a day.
Every single day, yeah.
Yeah, at least twice a day. Because if
Yeah.
you brush your teeth twice a day, there you go. But
Yeah.
you find yourself that you're in the bathroom more than twice a day. You're just going in there for stuff or whatever, depending on the
Yeah.
layout of your house, I guess. But my point is this. So I have it on my bathroom mirror, and I've had it up there for about almost a year now. And I constantly look at it. And it says, am I the witness or am I the slave?
Yeah.
Meaning the witness of my mind and my body and the emotions, the urges, the pulls, the desires. Or am I going to allow them to run the show, which is the slave or hostage, however you want to word that. And then I have on there non-resistance, inner peace, non-judgment, good or bad, non-attachment, impermanence. And my daughter sees it, which is really cool because now you get to start sharing this with your kids because they'll ask questions.
Hey, Dad,
And
it's
so
crazy.
At the bottom, she wrote love, Kayla.
Ah,
So it's like,
nice.
then I get to remind myself of
Yeah.
her every day because my son is living full time. But my point is this, ladies and gentlemen, anything that you commit to practicing on, you're going to improve, you're going to evolve, you're going to get better over time. Have some damn grace with yourself. Stop
Play.
with the beat up.
Play. Find the joy.
Listen,
Um,
if you're not having fun with this thing, this beautiful gift called life, you've misread the instructions. Period.
You got instructions? What the fuck?
Those are the instructions. Go have fun.
Before we start signing off, I want to make just a comment on something that you mentioned, which is, you have your stuff that you see it every single day. To me, when I started writing stuff down, it felt stupid. It felt here. Bear with me here. It felt really stupid. I felt silly just writing, even in a notebook. I'm like all this stuff is. I don't know. 90% of it is just conversations to myself.
Well, and men, what is that called? Diary. So it's
Yeah.
feminine, it's girly.
Exa-
And that's such
There's
bullshit.
connotations.
Yeah.
So anyways, it felt stupid to write stuff down. For example, one thing that I started writing a long time ago was a quote by Paulo Coelho. It's, I refuse to walk carefully through life only to arrive safely at my death. I love that. It's just, it resonates. And when I was thinking, it just landed when I read that. And like, I don't want to forget this. So I started writing that down and I saw it on my journal. And next thing you know, I made a thing of it and I made it public. It's sitting in my home office in my table where everybody can see it, right? So people ask about that, but that's one thing. Now you start talking about self-talk, that goes a long way. It was a thing that I started just kind of bringing up and telling myself, and just kind of mind hacking. And, now it's a way of life, right? I refuse to walk carefully through life only to arrive safely at my death. It's just part of what I do. It's part of my daily MO.
Part of your being now.
It's burned into the stuff that I do. So it's important, and it's to understand that self-talk and doing things like this, for example, you posting your stuff in your bathroom, in your glass where you can actually see it, inevitably, if you get exposed to it enough, you get conditioned, right? You
Yes.
get conditioned, and it's a way of self-programming to the person that you want to become. So,
Well, and that's so important because here's why, and we can wrap it up with this. Most people don't change their personality, meaning your personality is comprised of how you think, how you feel, how you behave, because
Right.
they don't think they're going to be successful at it, which is so hysterical to me and ironic. Because if you think about the dysfunctional, the ineffective programs, patterns, conditioning, behaviors you have, you're successful at those.
yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Where the fuck did those come from? You practiced
Exactly.
them over a long period of time, probably
Somehow,
from early
some way.
childhood, and never upgraded them. But our brains are, there's that neuroplasticity. They're malleable. They can change. And so that which you impress must be expressed through the body. And so what your practice and what are you impressing until it takes hold so it'll naturally be expressed without any conscious effort whatsoever. It's a habit. You have habits you're already successful at, good, bad, right, or wrong, whatever you want to label them as, and you can create new ones.
Yep, 100%.
So
Recap: 3 steps to success. It's gonna be focus, passion, and mental toughness. Right? Mental toughness goes hand in hand with non-resistance, non-judgment, and no attachment.
absolutely.
So I love it, man. Justin, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, where's the best place to catch you?
JustinThorstad.com, Facebook, Justin Thorstad, Instagram, and cell phone number is always easy. Text 602-348-8534.
Savage. You keep doing that shit. You're going to get hammered one of these days. All right.
Cool.
So,
Don't try me, it was a good time.
you can find me anywhere on social media, Rafael Cortez, CEO. Do us a favor and like the channel, share it. If there's something that you got, in terms of value out of this, spread the love. All right,
Well,
so,
and additional comments and so forth of what topics would you all like to
yeah,
see?
let us know. Today was kind of cool. It was the first day that we kind of figured out the comments and the
Finally.
yeah, exactly. So
Better late than ever.
yeah, I don't know. We'll get better.
Yeah,
like
we're
I don't
evolving.
we're evolving. It's that's our purpose for the next 2 weeks to figure out comments on Instagram. But yeah. So we'll catch you on the next Mindset Mondays at the Old Pulse podcast. Love you guys. Stay focused. You got this.
Thanks, everyone.
Boom.